Please be seated. I'm George Benson, President of the College of Charleston. Welcome to the Cistern Yard. I'm particularly pleased to welcome the many family members and friends and guests that are here with us today to celebrate the accomplishments of these terrific students. Thank you for being here. The college has a deep, rich history. It was founded in 1770 by a group of men that included 3 future signers of the Declaration of Independence and 3 future signers of the U.S. Constitution. We've been educating students on these hallowed grounds since 1785. The first true college commencement ceremony, one somewhat like this, was held in 1794. We begin our program with a national anthem. And by the way, the national anthem wasn't a part of this ceremony in the early years. It wasn't even composed until 1812, 18 years after our first ceremony. It will be sung by Muckle Johnson, a rising junior.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Muckle, that was beautiful. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Our commencement speaker has led some of the country's top advertising firms and conceived and delivered countless marketing campaigns. And as she or any other ad executive will tell you, such efforts always begin with a key question. What is the unique brand promise of the product or service being promoted? I want to talk about that question in the context of today's graduation ceremony. You can't create an effective marketing campaign around a product without first knowing what that product promises to do for your target audience. Articulating that promise is crucial to the success of an advertisement. Brand promise is a powerful motivator. Just look at your own purchasing habits, the places you shop, the food you eat, the vehicle you drive, the type of cell phone you use, all say something about you as a consumer and all link back in some way to a brand promise. Today, as you pass through Porter's Lodge and move out into the global marketplace, I challenge you to identify and create your own brand promise. That is, I challenge you to figure out what you have to contribute to society. What unique attributes do you offer in the career marketplace? What makes you different? What makes you better than other job candidates you will compete against? We already know some of your attributes. You are young, computer literate, and you're ambitious. You're environmentally conscious. You're mobile. You're multitasking and adaptive to change. You place a higher premium on having a balanced quality of life than your parents did at your age. These things we know because they are inherent in your generation's brand. In developing your own personal brand, it might be helpful to think about the brands you buy. Take Starbucks, and there's a Starbucks just behind us here on Calhoun Street. Every morning it's packed to the gills with bleary-eyed students getting ready for class. What do you think of when you think of Starbucks? Yeah, coffee, certainly. But what kind of coffee? Perhaps it's your very own custom coffee creation, prepared to your exact specifications and consistent from one visit to the next. That is your expectation based on your perception of the company's brand. You buy your coffee at Starbucks, and Starbucks promises to mix you a cup of coffee tailored to your liking. Let's look at another example, one that's particularly relevant today, the College of Charleston's brand. You probably chose to attend the college because it promised a faculty with a strong student-centered focus. It promised an unrivaled historic campus in a southern coastal city, and it promised rigorous and rewarding academic study. Individually, these qualities or characteristics are not unique to the college, but only the College of Charleston combines all of them. That is what makes the education you received here so distinctive. That is the College of Charleston's brand. We work hard to show off these assets to prospective students, and in some ways we have a relatively easy job because the campus simply sells itself. But if you live in Michigan or Idaho or Spain, you might never have heard of the College of Charleston or even the city of Charleston. And by the way, is that West Virginia or South Carolina? So we market the college, and we do this by communicating our brand promise. So back to my earlier question. What's your brand promise? Is your brand your Facebook page, your Twitter tweets, or a YouTube video? What are you putting out there about yourself? What are you promising? Well, maybe you don't know your brand promise yet. That's okay, but you're going to need it awful soon. Your next employer is likely to browse job applicants like a savvy shopper scans a supermarket aisle. Do you jump off the shelf, or do you blend in with 100 other boxes of cereal? I have good news and bad news about your brand promise. The good news, today your brand gets a boost. You've earned your degree, and it and the College of Charleston are now part of your marketing pitch to the world. This significant and historic institution, where so many pioneers and visionaries have gone before you, is now part of your individual brand promise. And the bad news? Well, it's more of a warning to be careful when creating your brand and taking it public. Customers can be fickle. What gets you in the door may soon wear thin. You must keep learning, keep growing, keep refining your brand. When needed, reinvent your brand. If Britney Spears can do it, you can too. But remember, for your brand to succeed, it must have substance and it must be an accurate characterization. Be sure your brand is grounded in your values and your work ethic. Be true to your roots and the lessons your parents and your grandparents and your professors taught you. Creating a brand is more than just making a promise. It's making a promise that matters to other people and then keeping that promise always. Think about the current economic crisis. I'd rather not, but think about it for a moment. And all the promises that turned out to be shallow or empty. The promises of investment banks, of insurance companies, of government regulators, and of rating agencies. And the promises of would-be homeowners who borrowed money they couldn't possibly repay. If we could turn back the clock and reposition or reinvent a few of those brands, our economy would be in a far, far better place today. So keep your promises. Your word is your honor is your future. Lastly, I want to ask you to make a promise right now today. I want you to promise that you won't forget the College of Charleston. Your legacy, whatever it may be, is now part of this college, and this college is now part of you. Give back to the college. Become our ambassadors and our advocates around the country and around the world. Reach back and help the next generation of our students. Become active alumni. Send your children and your grandchildren to the college. In exchange, I will make a promise to you. I will continue to do everything in my power every day of the week to increase the value of your degree. That is my job. I will make sure that the college that you promote as part of your own brand promise is worth everything you say it is and more. I promise. Ladies and gentlemen, for the conferring of honorary degrees, I will now be joined by the chair of our Board of Trustees, Mrs. Marie Land. And would Trustee Greg Padgett please escort Mr. George Spalding to the podium. Recent knee surgery. It is my pleasure to present George Spalding. George retired as general sales manager of Pontiac after a 25-year career at General Motors, and he came down south to enjoy his beach home on Kiowa Island. Somewhere along the way, he forgot that he was retired. In 1986, he threw himself into the College of Charleston, becoming the school's first executive in residence and starting a 15-year teaching career at the college. Beyond teaching practical courses like Introduction to Business and the Real World 101, George helped create the School of Business and Economics Board of Governors and the George G. Spalding Distinguished Speaker Series. Guest lecturers have included the presidents of General Motors, NBC, the McGraw-Hill Companies, Avon Products, and even the Charleston River Dogs. Over his lifetime, George reports working at least 23 different jobs. He's mowed lawns, served in the Navy, owned a dry cleaning business, and sold millions of cars as an executive at GM. He tells me he did not apply for any of those jobs, not one, didn't apply for one. Rather, opportunity always presented itself to a man unafraid of challenges and fresh experiences. George offers some advice in this regard. He says, find something you like. If you can't find something you like, just do something well, and the world will come to your door. Fantastic advice. Beyond teaching students, George has helped the college by being one of its biggest boosters. He is well known for promoting the college's new facilities, its excellent faculty, its students, and its athletics. Throughout his years at the college, George has remained incredibly humble. Over the years, I've received more than I've given to the college, he says. It's kept me going, my mind, my spirit. It is a pleasure to present George Spalding. His optimism, his can-do attitude, and his passion for teaching make him an excellent candidate for the college's Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you, George. You're welcome.
George Spalding, your considerable business knowledge, dedication to learning, and commitment to the college has been extraordinary. The College of Charleston is proud to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you to you. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the College of Charleston, I now confer on George G. Spalding the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Spalding. Let's go. Trustee Philip Bell, would you please escort our commencement speaker, Mrs. Charlotte Beers Beadleston, to the podium, please? Mrs. Beers Beadleston will be presented for an honorary degree by Alan Shao, our new Dean of the School of Business and Economics.
Thank you, President Benson. And before we go on, I'd like to give a special congratulations to George Spalding. As the Dean of the Business School, I can tell you that he is a jewel. He has made a commitment that is just unbelievable. And he has been a good friend. I've only been here for 7 weeks, but he has been a real friend, and I appreciate everything he's done for the School of Business. Charlotte Beers Beadleston graduated from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette with a bachelor's degree in liberal arts. She later smashed the glass ceiling and climbed to the top ranks of the advertising industry, earning a reputation as a queen of branding. During her illustrious career, the native Texan maintained a delicate balancing act, being known as much for her Southern charm as her tenacious pursuit of corporate accounts. Throughout her career, Charlotte has proven an exceptional manager. After rising through the ranks at advertising firm J. Walter Thompson, she became CEO of Tatham, Laird, and Cudner in 1982. During a decade at the helm, she tripled the company's billing to $325 million. From there, she became CEO of advertising giant Ogilvy and Mather, where she again delivered impressive results, turning around the struggling firm and increasing accounts by $2 billion. That's with a B. As a woman in a primarily man's world, she had to blaze many of her own trails. And not only did Charlotte eventually reach the top, but she thrived there. In 1997, Forbes magazine put her on the cover of their first issue featuring America's most powerful women. After retiring from the advertising world, Charlotte answered the call for public service. In 2001, Secretary of State Colin Powell asked her to develop advertising campaigns promoting America's image in countries with large Arab and Muslim populations. Charlotte served nearly 2 years as Undersecretary for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs before stepping down in 2003. It is my indeed pleasure to present Charlotte Beers Beadleston. Her incredible work ethic, marketing genius, and passion for creativity, making her a fitting candidate for the college's Doctor of Humane Letters.
Charlotte Beers Beadleston, your impressive career in advertising, marked by both ambition and creativity, is an inspiration to us all. The College of Charleston is proud to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the College of Charleston, I now confer on Charlotte Beers Beadleston the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Beers Beadleston. It is now my honor to present our commencement speaker, Charlotte Beers Beadleston. Charlotte.
Thank you, President Benson. If I had had such a good description of how brands work, I think we'd have gotten further ahead. Next time I'll call on him. And he's put it to a far better use for the use of the material that's in the class of 2009. I also want to thank the Board of Trustees for this leap of faith in conferring this doctorate on me. I hope you like my new wardrobe. I was jealous because I was in such plain black. Now I have something more ornamental. My husband, Bill Beadleston, and I have loved building a home and living here in Charleston. Of course, I realize that we have to be here another 100 years before anybody accepts us as real residents of Charleston. It's a great day of celebration, and word has reached me that this class needs no counsel on how to have a good time and celebrate. You see what I mean? But how can you not enjoy such a day? You are surrounded by people who are very interested in you, some who admire you, and maybe some who love you. But I want you to enjoy that so much today because it may be the last time in a long, long while. What you are going to do is enter life on the outside, and there you will meet possibly rejection and certainly indifference. And you need different tools for that as you enter that kind of world. I believe that just as a happy childhood is the worst possible preparation for life, a seamless transition from school to work will not teach you of what you are made. You need to know this because you are headed for a life of work, even though it's very different work than you've been doing. And clearly you've been doing it well. I define work very broadly. Work is, of course, work. Marriage is glorious work. And parenting, that's really work. So no matter which of these works you find yourself in, I'd like to offer you 6 ways to think about this. First of all, don't be concerned if your first work post-diploma is something less than the glamorous, cushy job or office you dreamed of. First jobs that are gritty rather than glamorous have actually turned out to be the secret of success for a lot of great achievers. What they tell us is that the small, the lowly, the rude kinds of work in early jobs taught them most about how to handle life. David Ogilvy, the founder of Ogilvy, which is of course a giant company today, says it was his early job as a mere door-to-door salesman for the Aga cooker, which is not easy to sell, that taught him he could survive repeated rejections and get up and try again. So a big part of his success was not only that he could create advertising, but that he could sell it. So maybe it's all right to choose grit over glamour. Another success factor surprises me at being on this list because of circumstances in the world today. That success factor is attitude. I would have thought, before I had some exposure to this lately, that attitude was a common denominator. You need a job, you get out there, you care about your work, you're ready. I met recently with Mark, who is the talent officer of a giant company, 100,000 employees from 40 different companies. And he was very distressed. He said that their latest class of new hires came to him not as though they came to work, but rather like showing up for a play date. He credits this with the fact that so much in their lives has been arranged for them, like tutoring, counseling, summer jobs. He said, now they are here, and they seem to me to be waiting around for me to arrange their careers. I suspect that what happened with that group is that it's a great deal as much of fear and uncertainty about showing you care, and also a tendency, as a result of that, to lean too much on others. But consider how refreshing you'd be in Mark's office if you came in full of zest for the work, counting on yourself to make a contribution, and most of all, letting Mark know that you think what they do for a living is worthwhile. Now, future success hinges on finding the work that's right for you. For this, you are going to have to go backward a bit. You were born an original, but like most of us, you have learned to copy others. It starts by taking a look at who you really are. The exterior of you is what you've spent 4 years refining and educating. We could call that your outward striver. Your resume is the result, as is your diploma today. But step 2 is when you learn to translate the education and the experience into something for either a prospective employer or maybe a prospective spouse. Now, step 3 is like that one giant step for mankind. It is to know the inner self. You have within you powerful interior drivers that affect how you do the work and how you engage with others, which is every bit as important as the work itself. It's important to acknowledge and search out these traits. I believe this because over time I discovered that one of my interior traits had more to do with my career than anything I had learned about branding. And I suppose I'll have to confess today that one of my primary traits, it goes like this. All things being equal, I'd rather be in charge. I don't necessarily recommend this, and my husband definitely doesn't recommend this. But it was mine to deal with, and in my early life in business, it troubled me, it got me in trouble because I spoke and I took over when I didn't know what I was doing. But later, as I gained more knowledge and ability, it became the thing that shaped my ultimate career as a fixer of troubled companies. So please consider doing this inventory and integrate the inner with the outer. It will give you something quite priceless, self-confidence. Without it, as Rilke, the German poet, says, it will be as though you were standing on fishes. So leadership in any forum comes from being authentic. And authentic can only come from knowing your whole self. Another success factor is to care about your character. You aim high here, not so much for success and titles, but qualities. And you get to pick them, the ones that matter: trustworthiness, integrity, bravery. Because looking back over your life from your rocking chair, you want to like who you have become. And the thing about these qualities is they are not acquired at the end. They are picked up along with mistakes and regrets and understanding day by day. For some, for example, bravery would be simply holding up your hand to speak, as an example. Or maybe it happens for others on the battlefield. But if you can go toward whatever makes you uncomfortable, day by day, you'll be ready when test day comes. Here's a small example. When I was a very junior account executive at J. Walter Thompson, Chicago, I was totally in awe of the only other professional woman, a kind of an acid creative star. I was walking down the hall one day and I heard her speaking to some amusement, apparently, because the men were roaring in laughter. I realized as I walked by that she was doing a very terrific mockery of my Texas accent. It sounded like, "I think it's the right thing to do," and I recognized it immediately. But the problem is I was completely muffled by that kind of experience. Now, my idea of bravery at the time was to learn to speak out in a world full of men. And I realized that no way could I let this go. I found myself at her door. I think I startled both of us by saying, by the way, I'd lost the drawl for this one, "I'm not leaving here until you and I agree that we can present a united front to the men." And she took me to lunch and taught me to drink Scotch mist. And it was a very long lunch. But we became 2 multiplied. And I like having that test day to remember. There's another factor that matters intensely. Communicating effectively is survival training in life outside. You cannot enter a world for which you do not have the language. When I worked for the State Department, the Pentagon, the CIA were awash in these mystifying initials and code words. Secretary Powell was really amused by my puzzlement. One morning, a fellow talked about Pakistan and India and something about PNG. Powell said, "You got that, Beers?" Well, I didn't get it, actually, but I thought a bluff was in order, and I said, of course, Procter & Gamble is coming to Pakistan. He said, no, no, no. PNG is persona non grata. So you too will have to learn a whole new way of communicating. It will not be what you want to say, as it was here in college when you had such an interested audience. It will be what they want to hear and what they are willing to hear. Because remember, you're dealing with a totally different level of indifference. Here's the golden rule in communication. It's not what you say, it's what they hear. Did you have them fly over? This means that you're going to have to start from a humble position of learning their language. Now, my final point is to make you aware what the winning companies of tomorrow are focused on as their success factors. Have you noticed that men and women are different? I am not talking about your expertise you might have perfected here at school. I am talking about the differences that the newly emerging workplace care intensely about. It starts early. A 10-year-old girl asks, "Who's your best friend?" A 10-year-old boy asks, "How far can you pee?" Boys grow up to be men who are physical and wholehearted about competing and striving. Men are good negotiators, planners, and organizers. Women have a kind of peripheral vision. They comprehend what's meant versus what's said. We understand emotion and feeling because we're not as alarmed about intimacy. And women can describe all these intangibles because for us, our weapon of choice are words. Now, that's by no means a comprehensive list of the differences, but the point isn't one better than the other. The point is that companies everywhere know that today, respecting and bringing these differences to bear on the very real problems and opportunities we have will absolutely make for a better universe. I want to close with a poem that asks a question you might ponder. David White wrote this poem when he was responding to the idea that in our country we seem to make gods out of money and success. He titles it Self-Portrait. It doesn't interest me if there's one God or many gods. I want to know if you belong or feel abandoned, if you can know despair or see it in others. I want to know if you are prepared to live in the world with its harsh need to change you. If you can look back with firm eyes and say, "This is where I stand." So that's my hope for you, that when the world moves, and it will, to change you, there will be a time when you need to stand tall, and you will be able to say, "This is I. This is where I stand." Thank you.
Charlotte, thank you for sharing your experiences with our students. We are indeed honored to have you on the stage today.
At this ceremony, we have two perfect 4.0 GPO graduates. Would each of you please stand as I call your name? Taylor A. Hamilton in accounting. And Stephanie Wadston in physical education and health. Congratulations to both of you. Skylar Stetton will make remarks on behalf of the senior class, and she will be followed by Seton Brown with remarks on behalf of the student body.
is my honor and privilege to speak to you this afternoon, to the class of 2009. When I think back on my journey over the past 4 years, I want to remember everything. College far exceeded my expectations, and I am grateful for that. I think that what makes leaving this place so special is being able to look back on the memories we've made, looking back on all the people that we've met and all the experiences we had, and thinking of those specific moments that were so college. We spent 4 years walking through time, each at our own pace, taking each step and every new experience and weaving them together. College may end today, but the things we learned will last a lifetime. I hope that we remain curious and eager to continue our education throughout our lifetime, being not just students of the College of Charleston, but being students of life, always learning and always changing. College is liberating. It is invigorating, it is challenging, it is scary, and it is open to everyone who has the courage and the curiosity to take advantage of it. Life isn't short, it just goes by really fast, so take advantage of it. We have all come together this weekend to celebrate a College of Charleston education. Graduating college is a great achievement, and it comes with a lot of responsibilities and successes that we will come to know. We may be graduating at one of the most inopportune times to find a job, but that will not stop us from becoming presidents, senators, executives, Nobel Prize winners, and goodwill ambassadors. The current state of the economy will not determine if we are successful. We will determine if we are successful. We will soon become proud alumni of the College of Charleston. We are the class of 2009. And in keeping with our commitment to give back, it is my privilege to announce that our class gift to the college is an academic scholarship for an incoming freshman. And I am happy to report that the class of 2009 has pledged over $14,000 towards this scholarship. Right now, we are sitting among some of the best friends of our lives, and we are taking some of the best memories with us. It is my hope for the class of 2009 that we go forth with remembrance. We came to the College of Charleston. We lived, we loved, we learned, and we will always remember what we will take with us from this experience. Congratulations, class of 2009. Thank you.
Alrighty, well, let me start off by saying that I just received a text that I should make this fairly short, but it is quite a bit cooler over here, so I may make it a little longer. Sorry, guys. I do want to welcome you all to what's been our home over the past 4 years. Thank you to the President Benson and to the Board of Trustees and the administration, our faculty members, and then also to all of our parents and families. You can tell that we're already having fun on stage. On August 22nd, 2005, I was among about 2,000 first-year students who walked in through those gates at the south end of the yard, through the gates of Porter's Lodge. We walked in together. Today we leave together, forever changed and enriched by our experiences over the past 4 years. And learning to know thyself, as it is inscribed above the gates of Porter's Lodge, we have learned that life does not always revolve around each of us as individuals. Life is about the people that are around us. It's about the lifelong friendships we build. And after 4 years, the graduates on stage are not just friends, you're all family. And throughout our lives, we will love one another as brothers and sisters in our hearts and in our minds. It has been friendship that has been the sweetest influence on each of our lives. Tomorrow, we will go to all ends of the earth. We will become chief executives and award-winning artists, successful doctors and researchers, and also literary geniuses, noble politicians, and beloved teachers. And although we leave here today and go in many different directions, we are forever bound by one special tie, and that's the College of Charleston. In my sophomore year, a dear friend of mine reminded me of the phrase, "Blessed be the tie that binds." It's beautiful in its simplicity. It is that tie that bond which brings us together today and connects all of those who are fortunate enough to call the College of Charleston their alma mater. As we prepare to join this special group of graduates, we will commit ourselves to enhancing not just our own reputations, but that of this institution. Many are to thank, but one group is to highlight: the people who have made such an investment in us, our professors. These men and women have committed their lives to the future. They were on the front lines with us in the classroom, where ignorance was their enemy and intellect was their defense. We leave here today with the knowledge that they have bestowed onto us. We leave in search of a noble truth, and we thank the College of Charleston for preparing us for our careers and the life after. Today, we leave far richer than we came. Our college motto, Sapientia ipsa libertas, knowledge itself is liberty. And today, we are set free. So hail to thee, our alma mater. Blessed be the tie that binds, and may God forever bless the College of Charleston.
Schuyler and Seton, thank you very much. You both will be sorely missed. Now, for the reason we all gathered here today, the awarding of the degrees. Joining me in awarding the diplomas will be Marie Land, Chair of the Board of Trustees, Elise Jorgens, our Provost, Victor Wilson, Executive Vice President for Student Affairs. Professors Susan Catwinkle and Evan Perry, both from the theater department, will announce the names and majors of our graduates. Upon successful completion of all degree requirements and with the recommendation of the faculty and the deans, I have the honor to present the bachelor's degree candidates of 2009.
Assisting with the graduates from the School of Business and Economics will be Dean Alan Schau. For the bachelor's degree in accounting, joining us will be Professor William Kaprowski, chair of the department. Jeremy P. Applebaum, Creighton White Armstrong, Bert C. Atkinson, Thomas Carr, also meets requirements for business administration. Jeffrey Chang, Brandon Tarver Dye, David B. Edwards, Odudu E. Essien, Crystal LaRonda Ferguson, Brittany Rose Farrow, Jeffrey Glazer Jr., Emilka Myastika Hawes, Taylor A. Hamilton, top honors, Brett Hancock, Tatiana Hanna, summa cum laude, Elizabeth A. Harkness, Christopher Haas, David Joseph Henley, Cheryl L. Ingram, Rita Kahn, Caroline F. Kinnett, Kendall A. Kuhn, also meets requirements for business administration. John Townsend Layton, Joshua S. Lyons, magna cum laude. Lada Malienko. Dave R. Marangwe, cum laude. Bethany Nicole Martin, summa cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Honors College certificates were awarded by Dean John Newell at a separate ceremony. Dennis C. McGlory, cum laude. Excuse me, is it Mowell? Mowell, thank you. Seth Michael Mowell. Laura A. Perrine. Lauren Diane Pertilli, magna cum laude. Selena Pinson. Stacy Lee Roberts, also meets requirements for business administration. Nicole Shaw Robinson, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Sarah Annette Roth, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Ryan Christopher Selleck. Robert Street. Allison K. Voris. Ashley E. Welch. Akeisha LaShawn Worley, cum laude. For the bachelor's degree in business administration, joining us will be Professor Kelly Shaver, chair of the department. Angela Marie Adler. Michael Ahrens, summa cum laude. Edgar Victor Archambault. John Emerson Arnold. Lindsay Roxanne Arnold. Edlyn L. Atkins. Dennis Richard Bailey. David John Baines. Charles Owen Barton. Mark J. Bastian. Stephen John Berlucci. Caroline Rebecca Bernstein. Luis E. Baroof. Thomas L. Besant. Kristen M. Bordner. Nicholas J. Bowes. Daniel Morgan Boykin. Brooke Lee Brady. Stephanie Renee Brockman. Nicholas Charles Broder, cum laude. Susan Winsome Brown also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Robin Amanda Birch, cum laude. Julia Tess Barigo. Taylor Brianna Kane. Kevin Andrew Kale, cum laude. Lacey Elizabeth Carr. Lacey's diploma is presented by Dr. Tom Langley, Associate Professor of Health and Human Performance. Joseph Carroll Carey, cum laude. Vanessa Mary Cherner. Christine Lindsay Clark also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Caitlin Elizabeth Cleary also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Kelly Yvonne Conforti. Claire Elizabeth Connick. Ian Donovan Conyers. Samuel Berman Cook. Shannon Marie Cosgrove. Joseph David Crawford. Kyle Joseph Crowley. Christina L. Cummings also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Michael H. Cunningham. Lindsay N. Dabbs. Eli Latson Dana. Thanks. Matthew Philip Dolly Molly. Laura H. Cushman. Sarah Ann Danicus, magna cum laude. Lucas J. Davidson. Nathan R. Davis. Andrew L. Dinkelacher, cum laude. David D. Dosher. Elena S. Doan, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Daniel J. Dubik. Thomas S. Dubose. Matthew A. Eisenberger. Megan B. Elliott. Alexander William Fine, also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Sean Fleming. John Tyler Forehand. Andrew C. Fox. Harriet Helene Franke. Bradley Allen Frazier. Andrew J. Fusey. Mitchell Robert Fusey. Justin Stash Gaeta. James Norman Gardner. Peter Mark Garlinghouse. Barry Scott Gauthier. Caroline O. Gibson. Kristen M. Glantz. Casey Gold. John A. Goodson. Claire Goodwin. Andrew M. Gordon. Lauren Grant. Alyssa Gutterman. Matthew Charles Haid. Marcus G. Hammond. Emily Hankel. Gretchen Emile Hargrove. Swen Richard Harrington. Amanda L. Harvey, cum laude. Gregory Hayes. Robert Henry Alexander Henderson. Ashley M. Herod. Grant W. Hoskins also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Amber Nicole Howard, cum laude. Megan Christine Hudson, magna cum laude. Austin Patricia Huff. Trevor Daniel Hullinger. J. Parker Erie. Kelly Nash Anabanet. Elizabeth S. Inglis. Nelson Luis Irizarry. Carolyn A. Ivans. Brian Christopher Samuel Jackson. Allison M. Jansen, cum laude. Jessica Johnson. Caitlin Fitzhugh Johnson. Ryan Marie Johnson. Paul Charlton Jones. Corey A. Judd. Michael I. Capaldo. Sunam John Kim. Eric Jarvis King. Joanna Olivia Clatton. Haley J. Klinghoffer. Christina Korb, cum laude, also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Brittany Kuhn. Nicholas Largura. Gerald Arthur Layden II. Susan Midori Lewis. Christopher Lietzo, cum laude. Erica Lindroth. Katie Jean Lisi. Michael Lister. Mary Alexandra Lockhart. Lena Kelly Mack, cum laude. Nathan Scott Mallard. Benjamin Simon Markowitz, cum laude. Joseph B. Mazzoli. Gavin Michael McBrearty. Cara H. McBroom. Caitlin Hale McGorry, summa cum laude. Kevin Andrew McKibben, cum laude. Christopher McKinney. Sean Patrick McMullen. Cornelius J. Merlini. Christina Lee Middleton. Erin Ann Miller. Skylar M. Moffett. Ashley Mosley. Patrick James Mulhern. Megan Ray Neese, cum laude. Peter Newland, cum laude. Danielle Nicholson. Simon Ogden, cum laude. John Matthew Passarello. Caroline E. Pelletier. Michael S. Paris. Stacy Phillips. Thomas Pollard. David Jonathan Quarterman. Eric Michael Radford. Brittany Nicole Register. Alexandra Denise Robinson. John B. Rockwell. Ashley S. Rogers, magna cum laude. Jonathan D. Roebuck. Edwin Wilson Rogers. Caitlin Ross. Elizabeth Wells Royal. Greg Samuelson. Cassandra A. Sinaki. Benedict Sass, also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Mark Irwin Schwartz. Stephen Edward Skybel. Jason Robert Seaman. Andrew Sharp. Caitlin Caldwell Shaw, also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Brendan T. Shields. Andrew Michael Smith. Andrew Riley Smith. Danielle Deer Stallet. Grant Miller Summerford. Kelly B. Tapp. Abigail Marie Templeton. Russell Everett Tomlinson. Stephen George Trask. Wesley Greg Treadway. Jocelyn M. Turney. Gert Cornelius Vanderbael, also meets requirements for German. Derek Carlton Van Loan. Robert A. Walden. Jeremy Wasco, cum laude, also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. William P. Weber also meets requirements for the Honors College. Joseph Michael Whiteley. Kimberly Aaron Wildy. Christiane Willem. Krishna Nicole Williams. Amber P. Willis. Jordan Tyler Winka. Jacob Winquist. Is it Jurgen? Jurgen. Joseph Gray Jurgen. For the bachelor's degree in economics, joining us will be Professor Chip Condon, representing the department. Eric A. Abel, cum laude. Neil Edward Alger. Chelsea Paige Andrews, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Martha Boros also meets requirements for the Honors College. Kenneth Ira Chandler II, magna cum laude. Alexander Joseph Kaleo. Peter Cook. Emily Strom Davis. Connor Douglas Deverell. Courtney Drew, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Peter Badia Farag. Daniel M. Fenton, cum laude, also meets requirements for philosophy. Patricia C. Grant, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Brittany A. Haas. Jordan Hone. Patricia D. Holder, cum laude. Amanda Taylor Jones. Jordan P. Kincaid. Chandler D. King. David Levine. Patrick Lynch, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Elizabeth Merrifield Miller, cum laude. Peter John Niger. Ashel J. Parmentier. Robert John Pickford also meets requirements for philosophy. Lauren E. Shumrick.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Nathan Hale Smith. Caitlin Marie Schneider. John Spangler. Cornelius Worley Thomas. Virginia L. Tinker. Michael Robert Weiss. For the bachelor's degree in hospitality and tourism management, joining us will be Professor Steve Litvin, representing the department. Kelly Barry. Austin Lee Benoit also meets requirements for business administration. Elizabeth Ann Bell also meets requirements for business administration. Stephen Mitchell Besseliever also meets requirements for business administration. Rachel Kelly Bishop also meets requirements for business administration. Marshall Seaton Brown also meets requirements for business administration. Charles C. Calloway. Elizabeth Ann Cesirely also meets requirements for business administration. Megan Caroline Chaplin also meets requirements for business administration. Nicholas Constantine Chiggs. Erin Lee Ciccone, cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Megan S. Cooley also meets requirements for business administration. Alexander Christian Cody also meets requirements for business administration. Kelly Ann Dewis also meets requirements for business administration. Danielle Jules Dory also meets requirements for business administration. Aubrey Hattem also meets requirements for business administration. Brady Hoffman also meets requirements for business administration. Jessica DeCastro Hurt also meets requirements for business administration. Holly Johnson also meets requirements for business administration. Erin Kane also meets requirements for business administration. Sarah Elizabeth Kelly also meets requirements for business administration. Annalise Kester also meets requirements for business administration. Gabrielle R. Labasio also meets requirements for business administration. Rachel McLean also meets requirements for business administration. Kelsey Shannon McNamara also meets requirements for business administration. Amanda Lee Miller also meets requirements for business administration. Catherine Elizabeth Miller, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Megan Catherine Milliken also meets requirements for business administration. J. Hugh Moulton also meets requirements for business administration. Corey Robertson Monk also meets requirements for business administration. Jillian R. Morris also meets requirements for business administration. Sharon Amalia Nadav, cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Amy Elizabeth Neville also meets requirements for business administration. Caitlin Danielle Patno also meets requirements for business administration and the Honors College. Meredith Ann Patterson also meets requirements for business administration. Lucora Phillips. Maggie Caroline Poston also meets requirements for business administration. Jessica R. Roberts also meets requirements for business administration. Stacy Marie Pulliam. Whitney Nicole Rogers, cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Michelle Lynn Rosenberg also meets requirements for business administration. Meredith Rowell also meets requirements for business administration. Brianna Elizabeth Seeley also meets requirements for business administration. Jacqueline Seymour also meets requirements for business administration. Jennifer Courtney Schubert also meets requirements for business administration. Chelsea Simon. Rachel B. Summer also meets requirements for business administration. Catherine R. St. Hilaire, cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Todd Michael Stoudemeyer also meets requirements for business administration. David Sullivan also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Okay, well that one's, this? Okay. Lauren Young Swink also meets requirements for business administration. Sarah Thornton also meets requirements for business administration. Marielle W. Tremblay. Erica Christine Van Bavel, cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Randall Lee Williams also meets requirements for business administration. Yolanda Thompson Williamson. Megan A. Wyatt also meets requirements for business administration. For the bachelor's degree in international business, joining us will be Professor Kent Gordon, chair of the department. Aaron Ambright. Kelly Arbuckle. Sarah Alyssa Beechler. Ashley Megan Black. Boris Broining. Lara B. Camozo. Priscilla Comley, cum laude. Hugh Cronin. Megan C. Dalton also meets requirements for philosophy. Matthew Hendrick Hodson. Tuan Dow. Sally Elise Dunbar. Tiffany Nicole England. Eric Lee Floyd. Brittany C. Foster. Lindsay M. Franchek. James George Fuqua. Matthew Joe Gasmovic, cum laude. J.P. Gonzalez. Dominique Grant. Lauren Hughes. Tyler Lewis Immel. Masha Henriette Antoinette Janssen Abdahar. Catherine R. Yankee. Carrie Johnson. Tim D. Klein. Lauren Nicole Kelly. Justin Allen Lazan, cum laude. Charleston Faye Marger. Justin Nathan McInnes. Paige Elizabeth McIver. Catherine L. McCord. Stephen Michael. Molly J. McQuillan, cum laude. Emily Miller. Ryan James Nelson. Lauren L. O'Leary. Daniel O. Padrone. Andrew Warfield Price. Jeffrey Quarles. Kirsten M. Schumacher. Richard D. Smith, cum laude. Jessica Sidaro. Kellen P. Thayer. Hannah C. Roth.
Assisting with the graduates from the School of Education, Health, and Human Performance will be Dean Francis Welch. For the bachelor's degree in athletic training, joining us will be Professor Michael Flynn, chair of the department. Rachel Aragon, cum laude, also meets requirements for physical education. Savannah Caitlin Bailey. Alex Andra Breitenwischer. Whitney Meredith Frail also meets requirements for physical education. Kelly Addison Gaiman also meets requirements for physical education. Robert L. Hensley also meets the requirements for physical education. Bailey Nicole Morris. Rachel Catherine Priester. Alyssa Christine Schulbe. Melissa Susan Tuma. For the bachelor's degree in early childhood education, joining us will be Professor Maida Van Sickle, chair of the department. Emily Sandra Barron, cum laude. Lindsay Whitmire Bates. Say again. Emile Jean-Pierre Birler. Ashley Ann Brango. Megan Virginia Causey, cum laude. Marissa Isadora Chanin. Brandy Kathleen Collins. Mary Margaret Costello. Diane Crump. Dory Alyssa Delosio, magna cum laude. Lindsay Ellen Davis, cum laude. Carrie Calder Dorn. Scott Dubray, cum laude. Crystal Shade Green. Chafin Elaine Griffiths. Laura Elizabeth Guffey, magna cum laude. Renee Kramer Gouchard, summa cum laude. Lauren M. Holden. Gina Jenkins Jordan. Nicole Krasnowski, cum laude. Colleen Crum, cum laude. Amanda Faith Martin, cum laude. Blake Anise Oliver. Ashley Michelle Preston. Madeline Rose Ray. Lindsay Elizabeth Rains. Cara Claire Rodman, cum laude, also meets the requirements for Spanish. Amanda LaFay Rucker, cum laude. Molly Rutke. Meredith Lynn Scavone, magna cum laude. Alicia Michelle Shoneth, cum laude. Kendall Lynn Sneed. Juliet K. Talmer, cum laude. Jennifer Nicole Taylor. Morgan Elaine Warner. Erin Elizabeth Wellbaum, magna cum laude. Allison Quinn Wells. Grace Lee Young, cum laude. For the bachelor's degree in elementary education, Erin Steele Ardrey. Laura Boxer. Holly Nicole Boyd. Eleanor Louise Brockington, summa cum laude. Leah Jennifer Boudreau. Rebecca Elva Clark. Lauren Ann Deerhoy, cum laude. Shannon Hamilton Fort. Kayana Elise Hawkins. Laura Lane Hoover. Chelsea Margolis. Stephen Nagy. Elise Marie Osborne, cum laude. Elise's diploma is presented by her uncle, Mr. Steve Osborne, Executive Vice President of Business Affairs at the college. Ashley Renee Pulley, summa cum laude. Chelsea Ann Sarigas, magna cum laude. Brittany Lee Smith. Lauren M. Thomas. Audrey Witt, magna cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. For the bachelor's degree in middle grades education, Taylor John Bradley. Douglas Brown. Kimberly Michelle Ginn. Lyra Lynn Martin, cum laude. Ann Rose McLaughlin. Chelsea Elise Mintz. Megan Ashley Phillips, magna cum laude. Rhiannon Ransford, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Lisa Hyman Stevens. Amanda Lee Stuckey. Amanda Jean Turner. Daniel M. Vella. For the bachelor's degree in physical education, joining us will be Professor Michael Flynn, chair of the department. Johannes Dorain Artun. Lauren Michelle Allen. Charlotte Ann Anderson. Kelvin Christopher Bailey. Caleb Benjamin Blackwell. Colleen Marie Boehm. Julia Alexandra Breyer. Courtney McClure Brust, cum laude. Chastity M. Bruton. Daniel Robert Burt. Clay A. Caulfield, cum laude. April Jeannie Cruz. Nicole Ford Cutrona. Gia Marie D'Agostino. Jenna Lee Davidson. Heather Ann Driggers. Danielle Kea Duncan. Matthew Robert Irvin. Shannon Rebecca Getke, cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Adrienne Simone Gant. LaSasha Vanita Garrett. Rebecca Hargrove Golding. Tony Glenn Heyman Jr., cum laude. Neasha Nicole Harper. Benjamin Trad Hepner. Brianna Danae Hopkins. Emily L. Jackson. Danielle C. Jordan. Beatrina Louise Keel. James Stephen King. Ashley Levy. Aaron D. Lovelace, magna cum laude. Melinda Cecilia Marchluski. Ashley Nicole McCombs. Evan James McMahon, also meets requirements for secondary education. Maurice B. Miller. Daniel J. Mogensen. Matthew Morris. Sarah E. Moy. Brandon Jamar Nash. Callie Jo Oberholzer. Renee Marie Oliveira, also meets requirements for secondary education. Megan Elizabeth Oliver, summa cum laude. Eugenia Nicole Rafaela Pantoni, cum laude, also meets requirements for secondary education. Toral Patel. Lauren Joné Alon Penoyer. Bria N. Reardon. Anne Elizabeth Redding. Catherine H. Ricks. Leslie Elaine Rivera. Megan Nicole Rogers. Mallory Deandra Rush. Megan Sanders Scott. Julie Marie Slater, cum laude. Andrew L. Snipe. Stephen Andrew Sosaby. Catherine Elise Spear. Amy Stark. Merrill H. Stone, summa cum laude. Ashley E. Strickland. Kristen Mary Thibodeau. Stephanie Wadston, top honors. Christine Mary Whiteley. Kantia Shanae Williford. Tremone Antoine Wingate. Cheyenne Helene Zima. Kristen A. Zionchek. For the bachelor's degree in special education, joining us will be Professor Maida Van Sickle, chair of the department. Kira Christine Abernathy. Carol Ann Anderson, cum laude. Kate Latimer Bradley. Ernest Brevard Jr. Cora Elizabeth Brimmer, magna cum laude. Lauren E. Caldwell. Rachel Corbett Doty. Faith Noel Ezekiel. Amy M. Finetti. Tiffany Hargenrader, cum laude. Amy Elizabeth Head. Aaron Kelly Hodges, cum laude. Michelle Lee Howard. Nicole Lamaine, cum laude. Leah Maharaj, cum laude. Sarah Christine Massenberg, magna cum laude. Alice Faye Messick. Megan L. Oakley. Lindsay Michelle Sachs, cum laude. Allison Faye Stahl, cum laude. Ashley Brooke Underwood. Catherine M. Wolf. Assisting with the graduates from the School of Sciences and Mathematics will be Interim Dean George Pothering. Sorry. For the bachelor's degree in biology, joining us will be Professor Jaap Helenius, chair of the department. Kathleen B. Adamy. How do you say your name? Savannah G. Bandaraga. Prajakta Baide, magna cum laude. Emily Carol Buxteggy. Kyle Wayne Bonnet. Courtney Sarah Bowers, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Genevieve M. Breen. Sabri Breland, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Courtney Brooks. Valerie A. Broom. Christy Burr. Sandra Lee Calhoun. Lindsay E. Cash, cum laude. Christopher L. Saracero, cum laude. Summer Chambliss, cum laude, also meets requirements for secondary education. Michael B. Chavez. Kimberly Dotha Christensen, summa cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Bora Chung. Ayla Marlowe Clark. Amelia A. Coleman. Samantha Renee Craven. Megan Renee Creech. Aubrey F. Crow. David M. Diamond, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Susan Dixon. Lori Elizabeth Dodd. Anna Grayson Evans. Ashley C. Evans. Ashley M. Fields, magna cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Heather Lee Finneyfrock. Whitney Lee Fitzgerald. Tyler Flanard. Lindsay King Freeman. Benjamin Graham Garrick, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for economics and the Honors College. Christopher Adam Gary. Danielle Nicole Geating, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Caroline Taylor Gilber. Alexandra Yanakaikis, cum laude. Ashley L. Gibson. Lauren Victoria Gothi. Mackenzie Jo Gwynn, cum laude. Tracy Hogstedt. Joshua Kane Hannegriff. Ashton Brooke Haney, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Christian Michael Harding. Morgan Blythe Helms. Ashley Meredith Hoggood. Matthew Israel Ori. Lindsay Dane Huggins. Leslie Faith Honeycutt. Ashlyn Younger Hunt. Molly Sue Hurst, magna cum laude. Megan Lee Hutchins. Mark Hutto, cum laude. Jessie Elizabeth Isaacs. Jennifer Lynn Johns. Brittany Elizabeth Johnson. Megan Marie Joyner. Ashley Elizabeth Justice, also meets requirements for the Honors College, cum laude. Laura Nicole Casting. Jeffrey A. Kiesler, also meets requirements for secondary education. Amanda Lee Kinney, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Hannah Y. Kim, cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Lauren Nicole Coster. Catherine Sullivan Kyle. Alexandra H. Landers, cum laude. Anna Catherine Laws. Laguerre. Timothy B. Legree. Kimberly Aaron Lisicki. Tracy Britton Long, cum laude. Adam Richard Litton, cum laude. Sarah Virginia Ann Marsh. Rachel Alexandra Marter, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Michelle R. Martin. Ashley Ann Martzoff. Trevi Martin. Michael D. Mirmanesh. Sheena Ann McBride. Mark Robert McWiggin. Stephen Eric McWiggin. Caitlin R. Miller. Amanda Antoni Moore. Adrian Marie Moss, summa cum laude. Jamie A. Mulder, cum laude. Micah Meservey Murray. Amanda Ray Mirren. John Francis McNamara. Justin Wilder Neese. Bao Vu Wen, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Katina Andrea Nicholas Beach. Kate Elizabeth Niehoff, magna cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Catherine Diana Norlander. Cynthia Marie Oliva, cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Craig C. Oliver. Virginia Lauren Uten. Dhruva Y. Patel. Daniel Peak. Jordan Jennings Petrie, cum laude, also meets requirements for studio art. Richard Andrew Phillips, summa cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. April Dawn Phillips, cum laude. Andrew Joseph Ponton, cum laude. James Poston. Kyle Vincent Pudney. Evan Michael Posillo. Natalie Ann Caranto, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Courtney Elizabeth Robb. Amanda Nicole Roberts. Leroy Raymond Roberts. Carla Romero. Cinta Patrice Rucard. Mallory Michelle Rusk. Laura Saffer. Stephanie Michelle Stasia, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Sarah E. Sankin. Bradley James Sailors. Jordan Sheely, magna cum laude. Erica Diane Sheftick, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Jennifer Marie Sherlock, magna cum laude. Ashton Jillian Shipman. Chelsea Simpson. Kyle C. Smith, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Sarah Catherine Smith, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Kyle Jason Spiker. Shahila Sriskanda. Elizabeth Langley Steverson, cum laude. Jessica Lawrence Tate. Michael Andrew Toussaint. Jennifer Rose Chazinski, magna cum laude. Yu An Choi. Kendall Ann Ulbrich, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Nicholas Vaca. Megan Lynn Walters, magna cum laude. Samantha Audrey Watson. Lisette Waters. Leanne Marie Wentz. Megan Kendra White. William McKinnon White. Brentley M. Wiles. Shane Wing, cum laude. Kimberly A. Yost. For the bachelor's degree in biochemistry, joining us will be Professor James Dever, chair of the department. Graduates receiving a degree in biochemistry also meet the requirements for a degree in chemistry. Christine M. Cahill, magna cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Brittany Henderson, cum laude, also meets the requirement for the Honors College. Ryan Hoos. Tyler J. Huff. Matthew C. Hunter. Kirsten C. Morton, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Andrea Nicole Ship, magna cum laude, also meets the requirements for biology and the Honors College. Jessica Nicole Cisco. Erica Ashley Trent, cum laude, also meets the requirements for biology and the Honors College. Jennifer Vonderheiden, cum laude, also meets the requirements for biology and the Honors College. Hugh Emmett Wright III, cum laude. For the bachelor's degree in chemistry, Sloan Marie Hess. Allison Nell Herger. Zachary C. Kennedy, cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Richard J. Liberator, magna cum laude. Chandra Potter, cum laude. Jonathan Joseph Puza, cum laude. For the bachelor's degree in computer information systems, joining us will be Professor Christopher Starr, chair of the department. Keith Allen Dugas also meets requirements for computer science. Wesley Stallard. Madeline Diane Williams. For the bachelor's degree in computer science. Say your name again. Gasquet. Stanley Dexter Gasquet. Kurt William Goldstein. Connor M. Hansen. Charles Anthony Coster. Nicholas Adam Pearson. Avery Scott. Thomas Wesley Slade. Paul A. Woodall. For the bachelor's degree in geology, joining us will be Professor Mitchell Colgan, chair of the department. Sarah Rebecca Dolliber. Thomas M. Druhl. Timon P. Drum. Kyla Justine Eric. Sarah Elizabeth Giles. Robert Hairston Porter. Mary Catherine Lee. Brittany Joy Marshall, magna cum laude. James Timothy McClinton. Sharon Kate McMullen also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Joshua S. Mode also meets requirements for marine biology. Christian Moore. Andrea Lee Savage. John Wesley Schneider. Brooke Lauren Spivey. Andrew Starland. For the bachelor's degree in marine biology, joining us will be Professor Jaap Hellenius, chair of the department. Carl William Bustles. Lauren Elizabeth Denise, cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Allison Laurel Deary, summa cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Patrick Jenkins Donovan. Laura M. Duffy. Nora Elizabeth Eddy. Michael J. Hubbard. Margaret May Jameson. Brian R.C. Kennedy, cum laude, also meets requirements for the Honors College. Mary Catherine McCumber. Scotty Lynn Mobley. Samantha C. Smoot. Catherine L. Stoneburner. Is it Tchaikovsky? Jenna Danielle Tchaikovsky. Elena Varr. Scott Bradley Wofford. For the bachelor's degree in mathematics, joining us will be Professor Robert Mignon, chair of the department. Mark Allen Christian, magna cum laude, also meets the requirements for secondary education. Erica Ann Dean, magna cum laude. Caroline Elizabeth Starr Edwards, cum laude. Caroline's diploma is presented by her father, Professor Chris Starr. Christopher Gersey. Amanda Margaret Gettiker, cum laude, also meets the requirements for the Honors College. Taylor Lewis Hamrick, cum laude, also meets the requirements for philosophy and the Honors College. Should I read that? Casey Lauren Joyner, cum laude, also meets the requirements for secondary education. Blake William Clay Matheny. Rudolph Matzner, cum laude. For the bachelor's degree in physics, joining us will be Professor John Hakala, chair of the department. Alexandra Tynert Gatlin, cum laude. Damian L. Howard. Fletcher Brady Moore. Andrew J. Smith, cum laude, also meets the requirements for astrophysics. Gregory McCrae Smith.
Will the candidates for bachelor's degrees please rise? By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, and on recommendation of the faculty and the deans of the College of Charleston, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, as earned, with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations. Please be seated.
You're on your own, kid.
Next, the Artium Baccalaureatus degrees will be awarded, the AB degree. The AB degree in classics requires significant coursework in both Greek and Latin. Other AB majors require significant coursework in Greek or Latin. The College of Charleston has awarded this degree for more than 2 centuries, and that grand tradition continues today. Will the following candidates please rise? Mackenzie Joe Gwynn, biology major. It is traditional that the audience also stand, not the students, but the audience also stand when this degree is awarded. Please rise. Curatoribus, octoritatum, tribuentibus, hos juvenis, in hominio rebus, literis, praeclatre, ereditus, ad gradum, Artium Baccalaureatus admissi. Congratulations. You may be seated. Thank you. I would now like the faculty of the college to stand. They are the College of Charleston. They deserve the credit for the quality and the success and the reputation of this institution. Graduates, we are delighted with the value that you have added to the College of Charleston during your time with us. We have truly learned from each other, and I offer you congratulations on a job very well done. Ladies and gentlemen, the College of Charleston, class of 2009. Now I would like to introduce David Hay, class of 1981, who will speak on behalf of the Alumni Association.
This is a terrible place to be on the program. It is such an honor for me to take part in y'all's graduation today. As president of the Alumni Association, I welcome y'all as our newest members. At the end of today's ceremony, you will join the 43,764 alumni of the College of Charleston. You will be a member of an alumni association that was founded in 1888 and exists to promote the welfare of the College of Charleston. As you get ready to start this new phase of your life, I'd like to share a few thoughts from someone who was sitting on the cistern where you are today 28 years ago, and it really seems like yesterday. Make the most of the education you've received here. You are well prepared for whatever path you take. The friends you have made here will be some of the best friends you will ever have. Stay connected with each other and stay connected with the college. Come back for a Charleston affair every year if you can. It was a good time. Get involved. We have 19 alumni chapters throughout the United States, and we are adding more every day. If you move to a city with a chapter, get involved. If there's not a chapter in your area, think about starting one. Give back. Y'all's class president, Skylar Stetton, spoke at our annual meeting on April 25th and told us of y'all's remarkable class gift. I must tell you, everyone there was very impressed. Keep up this philanthropic spirit after graduation, because it is our duty to give back to our alma mater and make sure those who come after us enjoy the same wonderful experience we did. There's a tradition at the college involving the class ring. Before graduation, students wear the ring with the seal facing in. But at graduation, the ring is turned so the seal faces out. This indicates that you are now alumni of the College of Charleston and ready to go out into the world. Good luck to you all, and remember, we will always be here for you.
All of you, please be seated. I got one more crack at you. All of you should be extremely proud of what you have accomplished here at the college. Our programs are rigorous, they're demanding. You were up to the task. Your efforts have earned you a very valuable degree. Now, I know you got to this point mostly on your own, but credit should also go to your families and your friends. The support system they provide is critical to the education process. I would like the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the nieces, friends, relatives, all of you, please stand so that the students and our faculty can thank you for what you've contributed.